Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Katrina, Ness, Vanessa Collins, and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings, Vanessa Collins, and Katrina Ness.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday, welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable's After Dark show. Today's episode is going to be a little bit special because we are with our Best Practice Award winners.
That's right. Congratulations to the winners, everybody, from the Knights of the Roundtable event. Robert Migliaccio, welcome to you as well. Eric, welcome to see you. And Tony Owens, of course, is in the house, and Michelle McLean as well. So we just finished up the Knights of the Roundtable event just a couple days ago. And tonight, Vanessa, we've got the winners with us. They are Scott Davis from Volley. These were the top vote getters during the event. Sir Ed Roberts from Bozard Ford Lincoln is with us tonight. Kimberly Grubb from the Cooper Automotive Group in Oklahoma. Welcome. Congratulations to you as well. Marco Zwanenburg, repeat winner from Naples Luxury Imports. Welcome. And of course, our good friend Jeremy Stevens is here tonight from Bozard Ford Lincoln and is in the chat as well. So very good. So Katrina, that was a fun-filled event and a lot going on in the last week or so.
Yes, it has been. We had the Fixed Ops Roundtable event and then straight into NADA. So a big full-packed week with lots of great information and automotive stuff.
Yeah, and we actually have one more person who won the award, Sara Hoagey from Elite BDC, and congratulations to Sara as well. So Vanessa, a lot of these folks were on panels, and there was one panel in particular, Vanessa, that stood out, and that was the Volley panel with Scott Davis, who hosted that for us.
Yeah, I heard. And for those of you who missed, Scott, do you want to tell us a little bit about the panel?
Yeah, we had Kim and Sara and Ed on, and they were talking about, I mean, from my perspective, it's talking about how you help your agents know what they need to know so they can help their customers. And everyone needs service. We just got to help them be confident and help the agents be confident and help them serve the customer. These guys had a lot of good info for how to get there. Ted was the point guard. I was kind of the water boy on the thing. They did a great job. It was awesome.
I thought, Scott, I made the comment during the panel that I thought it was the very best BDC panel. And Kimberly, you brought a lot to the table, you and Sara. Great retail experience, Kimberly. And you went through those points on things that you look for and things that you ensure the BDC. And Kimberly, I thought you set the pace for the whole panel. So.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
So, Scott, tell us a little bit more about the panel. What made this one different? It was things that you were pointing out during the course of that 30 minutes that I thought really made the panel so special.
Well, being a BDC agent is a hard job, and how do you get someone to where not only can they help the customer, but they can also feel good about their job, which will help them move up in the organization and such. When I was speaking with Kim recently, she had her 10-point checklist that she has, and I really realized that we can do a lot more. Not every BDC has a Kim in there or an Ed in there, or is using a call center like Sara's, and just really felt like this was something that was necessary. And after we're done, Ted, you and I were speaking, there's a lot of other ways that we can expand on this, and we will in future panels.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to that 10 million call study that you're going to have in May that you had last year, which is really eye-popping. Ed Roberts, you've been on a lot of panels over the years, and I think you'll agree in terms of BDC content. This was up there.
Well, this one stood out because we talked about some of the pain points that the audience was hitting and that they face every day and how to overcome some of those things. And we didn't talk about it from a theory. We talked about it from how we've overcome them and the elements of what Volley brings to the table to help bring all those things together. So I think more than anything, the audience was able to relate to it and say, hey, they can help me overcome some of the obstacles that I face. I thought I was on an island, but I realize now it's not an island, that we all face these challenges.
And Ed, I know you had some notes prepared for that panel, but as we went through, as Sara was speaking and as Scott was speaking and Kimberly was speaking, you were checking those off because they were covering the stuff that I know you were going to bring up.
Made it easy on me. Those two took the ball and ran with it, and I think we delivered some great content to the audience, and it allowed us to continue to build on some stuff that I didn't even make notes for. And I think it turned out phenomenally well. And obviously the audience.
Kimberly, first time best practice award winner. Some of the things that you shared, one of them was using the customer's name several times. I think you said 3 times during the conversation. That was one of the points. Could you share a couple of those with us tonight?
Well, with a centralized fixed operations BDC, like the new kid on the block, people are starting to realize the importance of this specialized department, because we bring them in, we set the tone. And, using a customer, nobody likes to hear anything more than their own name. And that is one of my biggest hot points whenever I'm training, is use the customer's name at least 2 to 3 times during the conversation, because that bridges that gap. You stop becoming somebody they don't know and become somebody they're familiar with. And it just has been a game changer. That one simple thing.
Ted, if I can jump in, when I listened to the recording of it afterwards, and one thing that really struck out to me was when Tim was talking about using confident words, absolutely, et cetera, to finish off the sentences. A lot of people hate calling into the stores because they're worried they're not going to get the help they need. And I thought that was a really key point. And at NADA, I had a couple people talk to me about that. And so that really stood out. I thought about it when I was rewatching it, and then I got the feedback at NADA. I actually had a couple people trash talking, the panel, how good they did just as good. It was fun.
Yeah, we call them our power words and phrases, and we have a list, and we will change them up, like I said in the panel, and it becomes something that, how can I engage this customer with a word? And you know what? You can. You absolutely can. I'm the exact right person to take care of this for you. Let's begin. How powerful is that?
Yeah. And Kimberly, you said that on some days, you don't want them using the same power word all the time. So you'll create you'll have a new word on a particular day, and you'll see how many times people can use it. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we'll have a hot list, because what I'll notice whenever I'm evaluating the calls is I hear a lot of absolutely, it's my pleasure, just the standards. And I want to throw something in there. How often have you called somebody and heard stupendous, exemplary, And so we will make those our hot words. And if you can work those in to your presentation and make it flow naturally, it gives those agents this almost a B12 shot boost as far as dealing with their customers. And you know what? That customer hangs up the phone going, well, I've never really heard that before. This is going to be a fun experience. I'm ready to go there and check my car in.
So Marco, on this event, we did something we never did before. And we have a young tech panel. We've had it now maybe, 2 or 3 times, Ed. I'm not quite sure. Jeremy Stevens had the idea. I think it was last spring. And
I think it was last year.
So I said, Jeremy, run with the ball. And, you moderate it. You do the whole thing. And Marco, I'm not sure if it was Ed's or Jeremy's idea or both, but they had, all these leaders in fixed ops like Sean Kingery and, the list. They brought a young tech to the panel. Okay. Montana Thomas, big superstar, 24 years old from Bozard Ford Lincoln. And he sat alongside Ed during that panel while Jeremy moderated it. And Marco was phenomenal to get Montana's feedback. And then Sean Butler brought a young tech to the panel. And I think that's going to be a thing that we're going to stick with, Marco. Your thoughts?
I think it's perfect. I mean, that's where our future lays, isn't it? We can't promote every technician that gets older to a management position. So we're going to have to do something to keep growing them and, be able to take what's in here and relay that to the latest generations, the new generations. And that takes a good personality on both sides, both the teacher and the student. So I'm really glad to see that. But I've heard said something about a Marco Montana meetup.
Yes,
we can put that together.
I got to follow up with our friends at Bozard, Ed.
Yes.
I
think somebody said on the sidetrack there.
Somebody said on the panel, Ed, that we have Marco, but yet here's the super young version of Marco. And how about having them on a panel together?
That was a nice way of saying that you're a little bit seasoned now.
I call myself the dinosaur tech all the time, so we're fine with that. He's being nice. I like it. Must because we're live.
Marco and future Marco.
That's right.
I like it.
Classic Marco.
The funny thing is that Montana is exactly half my age, so that's kind of funny right there.
So Katrina and Vanessa, I can sense a video promo coming on this down the road, and it might tie in with these initials here that Sean Kingery shared. Marco, what would
Marco do?
Marco would just keep on going, Sean, except for coming to Wisconsin. That's still not going to happen.
All right, Jeremy, tell us about this panel that you moderated and hosted, and there was a lot of energy and excitement on there.
It was, because everybody knows this is the future of our industry, and Montana was on point. And one thing that we pulled out of is, that first day that you're there, when they go into a dealership, nobody knows what to do or where to go and stuff. And Montana really pulled that out. And I think Robert kind of hit it also, that community part, find somebody that they can connect with and start building that relationship right out the gate. And it makes that that first day a lot better than what it could be. We Jeremy, we interviewed a tech today, a young tech, and her first interaction was the confusion of where to go into a dealership and stuff. It was mind blowing to her, because she came from a little small independent shop, probably a 4 or 5 bay shop, and coming to it, and it was very overwhelming for it. And I think we forget about that when we step into a big dealership, how overwhelming it can be and the intimidation that it has, and all the senior technicians and stuff like that. So I think Montana did a great job on that.
And Marco, great point. We don't talk about that all that often, although I know you have talked about it in the past, that first day and the onboarding and how important that is. And I think Jim Sabino even mentioned, Marco, in the panel, to have the tech's uniform, have it ready the first day, not having to wait for that, things like that.
Absolutely. It's the small things that matter so much. And that's something that I've been trying to drive home. And a lot of times with success, thanks with the help from like Ed Roberts, Sean Kingery, Tully, and of course you, Ted, and the whole Fixed Ops community here. But there's so much more than just money. Culture is number one. Make me feel respected. Make me feel like I'm part of a team, of a winning team. When's the last time that you signed someone new in the NFL and they have no jersey ready? Did that ever happen? You see a new guy running on the field wearing like his coveralls? I don't think so. So why are we different? Just saying. Asking for a friend.
Jeremy, I can't think of anybody who would put it better than Marco just now.
Yeah, I like that. That was a good one.
And Marco, all of this started from you pointing out things in the shop, big things, little things that may seem little, but are really big things, like that, yes. Tech lunches and the way we treat and respect the technicians or have not respected them in the past, and yet it's such an important position. And like you said, you could leave the dealership this afternoon, and before you leave, you've got 3 other jobs waiting for you.
I don't need you. You need me. I mean, and I don't want to sound conceited, but that's the way it is. And if you treat us the way that, it has been, the shops that are doing great, Sean, Ed, Tolly, you are the shops, the dealership groups that have figured it out, that know the value of a technician. All the other ones, we'll just take them over one by one. That's fine. Keep on going.
Exactly.
And bring us up to date on techs in your shop. And it sounds like you and Jeremy have been busy filling all those new spots.
Well, I like what Sean just said there. We're going to have a new outfit for Marco. Going to have tux ready for you there. I think there's some more drawl to get you to Wisconsin.
Well, in the cold of Wisconsin, I better look like a penguin dressed in a tux.
But we're at 105 technicians. But as the world knows now, we are expanding remote services, what was formerly known as mobile service. And Jeremy is doing a great job of bringing in some new talent and talking to some ones that set some of the independents and various other ones that want to be part of something else, but are afraid to step out there, like he said, and step into one of these intimidating places because it's so much different than where they're at. And so as these coming weeks come along, that number is going to continue to climb, because once they get there, they realize that we're just humans as well. At first, there's that barrier where they feel like, I can't go do that. And then I think we do a good job of making them feel at home and visualize themselves being a part of it.
So, Scott Davis, one of the things at the roundtable that we do a whole lot is, we talk to and with and about the technicians, all right, and let them tell their story. And there's some really powerful stories out there. And Marco was one of the very, very first people, Scott, to bring the roundtable to life and insist that we do this meeting 5 years ago in Manhattan. And, Scott, we're indebted to Marco for what he's helped start.
It's fun to listen to the guys and the banner they have, because we work with hundreds of BDCs across the country. We of course have a lot of interaction with the rest of the dealership or their staff does. It's very obvious that there's 2 types of dealerships. Some of them have geez, we can't fill our and we're doing all we can, and the others have an attitude of abundance. No doubt that these guys have an attitude of abundance, and they attract better people who want a career out of this, who can, these are great jobs anyway. So, but I know what side of the fence that all these guys are on. It's fun to listen to.
And Kimberly, Cooper Automotive Group, very big group in Oklahoma. Tell us about your stores. What franchises? How many rooftops? And how many BDC agents will you see?
Well, we have 8 rooftops. We have 3 Ford stores, a Lincoln, BMW Mini. We have Chevrolet Cadillac and 2 CDJR stores. And right now, and this is interesting, because if I did not, little plug here, if I did not have Volley, I could not do what I'm doing right now. I had just a force of things happen. I always keep 8 to 10 agents to run these 8 stores. I have 1 that's pregnant, that's getting ready to go now, and 2 that had to leave. 1 got promoted to an advisor, and 1 chose to pursue another career path. So I'm down to 5. You know what? We're not panicking. We're not panicking, because the call handling is so much easier. And for a while, we can get these 5 people to cover what we need to cover until I can get us staffed back up again. Before, it would have been unheard of. We would have been in a hard panic and shut everything down, and their calls are going back to the dealerships and blah, blah, blah. But thank goodness, a great call handling program.
Ed, your thoughts? I know you got a lot of phone calls coming in and out of Bozard.
Well, it's like Kimberly said, it's about consistency and being able to duplicate that and be able to carry it further. But I want to shift gears for a moment because we're talking about Jeremy winning for whatever it may be, Marco, and then the best practice work. But our true winners was our audience, and we was able to deliver something they could take back to their stores and make something happen with. Whether it was the one of the panels that I was on here with Scott Davis and Volley or some of the others, those are the true winners. And because it sank in, that's the reason why they said, "Hey, these guys was impactful." And I think it had a lot to do with the traffic that Scott got just a day later in Las Vegas because it made a recognizable name. But none of that would happen if it wasn't for you putting it all together, Ted. So the audience wins, and we got to give you some recognition for putting it all together as well.
Well, thank you, Ed. And I spent the last, 2 of the last 3 days sleeping, just catching up from this whole thing. Scott, you and I talked right after that panel that Volley did, and you made the point that Ed was sitting there smiling, okay, almost the whole time. And you made the point, and I think I confirmed it, that Ed really liked the content of that panel. We knew it was a winner, Scott, as soon as it happened.
Yeah. Ed's fun on these things, but yeah, I enjoyed watching the interaction. One of the things that really struck me as it was going through it is, people say that one of the best ways to learn is to teach. And even for crusty old farts like me, when you get to re-talk about things like this, it re-energizes everyone. And you're like, okay, let me go down the list. Are we helping everyone as good as we could do this? I'm really appreciative that we got to do it. So,
I'm very grateful too, Scott. And great in doing the panel. Okay, I thought, in fact, I mentioned we got to have an encore panel just for this one because it was so good and there were so many great points. We didn't have enough time in 30 minutes to come out. Jeremy, what's next for the young techs? Are we going to have everybody bring a young tech with them to the next roundtable for this panel? What do you think?
I think so. I think they brought a lot of value because they're living it. So I think it'd be a great point to have some of those guys on the panel.
We can even make it a requirement to be part of the panel.
That's right. If you don't bring a young tech, we just bump you off. How about that? We do it live and then we just put a little X over their names.
Mark, I could see that happening.
You know what? That's what it's all about. Entertainment. We got it here. Entertainment, information, you name it, we got it.
All right. Now, I don't know how many people noticed this today on social media, but Michelle McLean put a post up. Michelle, I think it was on Facebook. You can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but you've asked everybody what was their number one favorite 90s tune, because that's going to be the theme for our next event. And Michelle, you've been getting a lot of comments in there on 90s music, and many of which, Michelle, this time I knew. Okay. But I think the 90s thing is going to be a lot of fun next time around. And here she is, Facebook and TikTok. Okay. All right. So everybody, if you haven't seen, check out Michelle's posts on those two platforms, because we're looking for some feedback on music for the next theme, which is going to be a lot of fun, Jeremy. And it's going to be, a lot of highlights coming on that. I got to ask, this is unsolicited. I got to ask Katrina first and Vanessa second. They don't expect this for what's coming. But this was, Vanessa, your first NADA, and Katrina, I believe it was your second time, right? At NADA. So Katrina first, what struck you the most? What did you take away from this, amazing multi-day gala in Las Vegas? What did you take away most about the automotive industry and opportunities here? What comes to mind?
Well, I kind of knew this already, but the automotive industry is such a people business, and you really see that at NADA when it's all face-to-face contact and everyone's, very friendly and just very upfront, and you're smiling at everyone and everyone's smiling back. And I had, I had the chance to run up and chase Ed Roberts down after he did a panel at the Automotive News Forum. So it was so exciting to see all these faces that I always get to see virtually. And I just get to run into them in person. But overall, the automotive industry is really just, it's the people business. And I know everyone here knows and sees that.
Very much is, it's the car business, but it's really the people business. And Vanessa, what are your takeaways from this past week at NADA?
Yeah, so this was my first NADA. The only other automotive convention that I've been to was Women in Automotive. So it was, everybody kept saying, it's the Super Bowl of conventions, and to be able to go at such a young age was truly a blessing. First of all. Second of all, just being able to, recognize the different businesses that I know through the Fixed Ops Roundtable was awesome. Seeing, familiar faces. I got to interview some people that I have met, through the After Dark shows and the events, one of them including Joe St. John from AutoFi. That was amazing. And yeah, everybody is truly so friendly, and, they, as a young person still in college, they really want you to succeed, and they offer you honestly opportunities left and right. And it definitely made me feel like I'm where I'm meant to be in life. And I'm really grateful for it. All those connections that I made and the networking. Katrina, you're absolutely right. It's the people business. It is, a large industry, but it's also small in the sense that it's such a tight-knit community. And I say that a lot, but I will continue saying that because I really can't believe it. Yeah, I'm still on cloud 9 from it.
So Katrina, let's, if you would, give Northwood University a short promo here, a short plug. Tell us what Northwood University is, where it's located, and who goes there and who graduates.
Of course. So Northwood University is a small university up in Midland, Michigan. It has a very automotive kind of background. We do a lot of automotive things here. Like, we are the only university sponsored by NADA. So all these companies have to pay for their booths to be at NADA, but NADA pays for our booth in our badges. So we kind of just get to be there for free. And we also have our own auto show with over like $50 million worth of assets, 500 vehicles. A lot of people come. It's open to the public. And it's overall just a amazing university with great industry connections. I have a fun story that me and Vanessa got to experience at NADA relating kind of to Northwood. But our professor, LG Bright, calls me up. He's like, hey, I want you to go over and do this interview. They're doing it by the live stage, blah, blah, blah. So me and Vanessa are like, okay, we go over there. And the interviewer and the videographer team tells us, oh, like, you have a minute, there'll be one person ahead of you. So I run to the bathroom, I come back, and they're like, this is Bobby Sight, the general chair of NADA, and he's going to be interviewing you and Vanessa about the show. So the NADA chairman got to interview us about Northwood and about NADA. So just these kind of small experiences that we get to have kind of really show what Northwood's about, because no other university in the world gets these opportunities and gets to be interviewed by the chairman of NADA and just be at NADA in general. So it was an awesome experience. NADA was great. And I'm so happy that I'm able to go at such a young age and be involved in this industry.
Great news. And Scott, that says a lot about the booth there. Good people to hang around with, Scott, right? So.
For sure.
All right, everybody. Well, we have a big event coming up. It's going to be in May. It'll be here before we know it. It's going to be a 90s theme, a 90s rewind. This lady in the chat, Michelle McLean, she is the very best in the automotive industry as well. And she's working on all the fonts, the colors. Actually, we have all that ready to go. And we'll be releasing that here this week. But it's going to be May 13th through the 16th. Back to the 90s. Ed, I heard some people already getting their wigs, Ed, and getting ready for that. But hey, that's nothing new for us, right?
Not at all. Always dressed to fit the theme.
All right. Well,
on behalf the 90s will probably be easiest for all of us.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So we're gonna have a lot of cool things there. Congratulations, Marco, again, best practice winner.
Thank you all.
Jeremy Stevens, congratulations. Kimberly Grubb from Cooper Automotive Group. Ed Roberts, congratulations. Scott Davis, congratulations. And Sara Hoagey as well from Elite BDC. So thank you, Vanessa, and thank you, Katrina. Great show tonight. We'll be back, everybody, on Wednesday, and we'll do this all over again. So on behalf of the Fixed Ops Roundtable, thanks, everybody, and congratulations to the winners.
Thank you. Thank you.